Before we get into today's show, I want you guys to name a player you want the Detroit Lions to draft. Any player in the comments below. Could be a round 1, could be a round 7. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Kerby Joseph. He had an issue with an injury. We're going to talk about that. Sheila Ford Hamp speaks. We're going to go over what she said. We're going to go into the top 30 visits for the Detroit Lions, Lions' new uniforms, and a rumor in the NFL draft for a trade for the Detroit Lions for a certain player or players. Let's get into it right now. Let's start with Kerby Joseph, folks. Kerby Joseph had surgery on his hip. When he was speaking with the Lions uniform release, he says, I'm going to come back until training camp. Y'all bear with me, but I'll be back. If I'm out there, I'm going to be 100%. There isn't a hindrance. I'm going to give it all I can get every time, Joseph said. Him having surgery is a little bit concerning, right? Because the Detroit Lions need to have all the players ready for the 2024 NFL season. Last year, Emmanuel Moseley, he had surgery. We expected him to be back for training camp. It did not occur. Why I think this one is not as serious at all, because Kerby Joseph had surgery. He'll be back for training camp. And most importantly, we actually seen him. He was running around, jumping around with the Lions new uniform. So clearly, it's not too serious. And I do believe he will be back for training camp. It's no big deal to me for the Detroit Lions to miss out on him for mini camp or OTAs. Why? He's already been here. He's been in the Lions organization. He knows the defense. I'm not too concerned about it. But that's just me. Are you concerned about Kerby Joseph's surgery? Why for yes and for no? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We're going to continue on here and talk about the top 30 visits, give you an update. Major trend in the Lions do draft from the top 30 visits. It has now been proven for the last 3 years for Brad Holmes' draft. It's about 50%, at least, from the individuals they draft. So they draft 8 players. Generally speaking, about 4 of those will be in the top 30 visit. Here are the names that visit the Detroit Lions here. Giovanni Manu, a CFL player there for tackle. Roman Wilson, Michigan wide receiver. Marshawn Kneeland, a lot of people like him, and I do think the Detroit Lions like him as well. Nate Lynn-William, defensive tackle Michael Hall. Christian Boyd, Jerzane Newton. Those are 3 defensive tackles. So I do believe the Detroit Lions are going to be looking to upgrade the defensive tackle position. But if you're going to look on this list, this is where you know the Detroit Lions are going to get better here. This is not a joke. They're going to draft a cornerback. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quinyon Stiggers, Terrion Arnold, Andrew Phillips, Ennis Rakestraw, Kalen Carson, Newman Pritchett, Mike Centrilli, and Zion Vaki. That is a ton of cornerbacks, folks, for the Detroit Lions. Just an absolute ton. And make no mistake about it, they're going to get the players that's going to help them get better in the secondary. It's going to happen. So in mock drafts, you best be looking for corners. And let's go over these 8 corners that they had for visits. These guys are pretty high up in the draft here. Mike Centrilli, a first/second round. I have a second round grade on him. Kalen Carson, maybe a third round. Rakestraw, second round. Andrew Phillips, later. Pritchett, later. Terrion Arnold, this name, keep an eye on. Alabama. If you're to get him, you got to go trade up in the NFL draft. Quinyon Stiggers, CFL player, and Kool-Aid McKinstry. A lot of these names, folks, make no mistake about it, are high-end corners. The Detroit Lions, I do believe, will draft a corner very high, and that's really important if you ask me. Now, how would they get some of these corners? Well, it's really simple. You have to trade. And this is what Daniel Jeremiah said. Yeah, I wouldn't rule that out, Jeremiah said. They've got some age on the offensive line, so there's guys they feel like they would love to go and get one. It didn't shock me at all. But the corner position is one they can continue to look at. They've done a lot of homework on corner class, and talking to some agents over the last week. So, yeah, I think one of those top corners start to drift a little bit. They could go there and do that as well. They're knocking on the door. They're right on the cusp of being a championship team, so there's a time to be aggressive, and this could be that time. Folks, we've been talking about a trade-up scenario for a while, and I do believe the Detroit Lions are potentially, I do believe they're going to trade up. Not trade out, not stay at 29. I think they're going to trade up and get a corner, because I do believe this is a real rumor. I do believe so. Now, it just all depends, right? Will the player they like be there at a certain position? Say you're at 14 and 15, and one of two players are there. I think the Lions would make a trade. And we're going to get into those players right now. First off, well, both of them are trade. One would be going up earlier. Maybe one would be just a couple of spots. We're going to go with the couple of spots first. And that's Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Detroit Lions do like Kool-Aid McKinstry. Okay, he's brought him in for a visit multiple times. They've seen him multiple times. He's a legit target. Now, this could be a trade up, maybe a couple spots, or at 29. But I think maybe a couple spots, right? Very well. The other player is a bigger name. Before you do that, I'm going to ask you a question, though. Pick a cornerback. TA for Terrion Arnold. And QM for Quinyon Mitchell. If you're doing a trade-up scenario, who would you get? And now, if you're thinking about a small trade-up, you go in there and put on as well Kool-Aid McKinstry. But let me know in the comments below. And we're going to get into that target right now. Again, I think the Lions are going to be potentially looking for this corner here. Terrion Arnold. Now, the Lions love Alabama players. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Terrion Arnold. We've been talking about Kool-Aid a lot because potentially he could be there at 29. But we all know Terrion Arnold is not going to be there at 29, so we haven't talked about him. But what if the Detroit Lions are looking to trade up to 14 or 15 to get Arnold? It seems possible. Here's Arnold's stats right now. Solo, 40 tackles, a total of 63. 12 pass defense, but the biggest number here, 5 interceptions. The Detroit Lions love to get that ball back to their offense. They love to go ahead and get interceptions and turnovers. Terrion Arnold could absolutely be a target for the Detroit Lions. Very well could be a target. If they trade up for a corner, to me it would be him or Quinyon Mitchell. Either way, I would be happy. I think they're both very good players, and they would instantly help the Detroit Lions defense significantly. So, if you're to trade up with one of two players, who is it going to be? TA for Terrion Arnold, QM for Quinyon Mitchell. Let me know in the comments below. Let's go ahead and continue on here and talk about the Detroit Lions' new uniforms, what I think about them, my thoughts. After the full reveal, I'm changing my tune a little bit. Folks, these are the uniforms right here. You got your away uniforms in white. What I really like about this, I do like the white and blue. I do like the new blue. I do like the new white. I like the lettering, and I like that the William Clay Ford is off there. So I think the uniform is nice. Not much of a difference from last year, but it's a little bit nicer. The old 90s uniform, that one you've seen Jared Goff there with the blue and the silver, I think that's cool, a little bit retro. Not too bad, if you ask me. But what I love is the black and blue with the blue helmet and the black logo. This is what I've been wanting to see, folks, is the Lions switch it up a little bit. And I love the blue helmets last year. I think they're the greatest. And then you could take the blue helmets and you put a black Lions logo on there with the black stripes. Freaking love that. And it matches well with the black uniform and the blue numbers. And of course, you could do black or straight blue pants. God, I love that. To me, that's absolute fire. I think the Detroit Lions did a really good job on this uniform. I think they did a fabulous job on kind of switching it up with the black and blue. I like the Lions uniforms. Now, just I was talking to TA, Raw podcast, we like to see maybe a white helmet. Maybe next year they'll go white helmet as they go 3. But pretty damn good uniform if you ask me. So question for you, do you like the Detroit Lions' new uniforms? Y for yes and N for no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about Sheila Ford Hamp because she spoke, and I like it. She says, as Coach Campbell said at the end of last season, that was phase 1, Hamp said. The 2024 season is phase 2. One of the goals in 2024 is at the end of the season, we will be hosting the trophy. A Lombardi trophy. Oh, I love it when our leadership and our ownership is not afraid to put high expectations on this football team. Sheila Ford Hamp has been such a great owner for the Detroit Lions. I love everything that she did, hiring the right people. She is a fan. She lets the leaders work, but she also expects greatness. And I like that she says we need to be hosting this Lombardi trophy. Absolutely love it. It's confidence. It's not arrogance. This team is expected to do this now. It is not to make a playoffs. It's not just to get to an NFC championship game. It's to get to the Super Bowl and host that trophy. This is the new Detroit Lions here, folks. We are not a scrub team anymore. We're not a laughingstock. We're a real football team. And I appreciate Sheila Ford Hamp going out there and saying what she said. That's what I want from my leadership and my ownership. I really do like what she said right there. So in the comment section, folks, let me know. Do you like what she said? We're going to be live for the NFL Draft 6 days away, folks, at the Soaring Eagle Casino. Myself, Herman Moore, Speakeasy, Spend Mo Racks, Dose of Dion, Everything King. It's going to be epic. Show up there. I'm going to try to get to Detroit in day 2, hang out with the folks. So hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on this bad boy. With that said, folks, adios.